Hello everyone. First and foremost, thank you very much for supporting my first video. I would not be doing this without you, so I appreciate it. I am not an expert in any of the following topics. I'm just some guy. So we have an election coming up on Monday, and the problem I have with elections is, can we believe anything the candidates tell us? We've been burned before by empty promises and political rhetoric, and it's gotten us nowhere. So who do we believe? What's the right answer? So the important thing to remember is if someone makes a pledge to do something, it means that it's not only possible, but it's also feasible. If it's not, then it's just an empty promise. So take you-know-who down south. He pledged to build a wall at their southern border and have Mexico pay for it. He pledged to bring down grocery prices on day one after getting elected. Of course, these things didn't happen. So he knew when he was saying them that they were lies. How do we know our politicians are any different? Well, first and foremost, they have resumes. And we can go back and research their qualifications and dig deeper when it comes to our individual priorities about policy. But we have to make a reasonable conclusion based upon the information we're given. So before Trudeau resigned, he had a 16% approval rating. The Conservatives were on a strong path to have a majority government in the next election. People were fed up with a system that seemed to be systematically going broke. No explanations why, no accountability, and we were fed up with it. But the problem is we didn't really ever get the answer to the question, how did we get to this point? Now, there are obviously accountants and other professionals at the highest levels of government keeping eyes on these things. They know the numbers. They've seen the trends. They understand how things work and how they will go according to past experience. Fair? Yeah, I think so. So what happened? Did they see this train coming at us while we're still on the tracks and say nothing, do nothing? If that's the case, then they're incompetent and need to be replaced, right? So politics, as usual. Kick out the guy you don't like and roll the dice with somebody new. Now, of course, we all know what happened next. The madness down south began again when you-know-who got reelected. Right now, the Republican government is painstakingly tearing away safeguard after safeguard of the American people, co-opting the media and the universities to control the flow of information, and ignoring court orders, even their Supreme Court orders, which already skew Republican. And they're blatantly bypassing the parts of the Constitution they don't like. It didn't take long for people up here to raise their hackles. We've seen this before. We knew what was coming, but what we weren't ready for was the speed in which it came. No one really was. So that's when our hackles turned into elbows. I think the main problem here is that most people are terrified of a conservative government because they don't want Canada to go in the same direction as the United States. Perfectly understandable. A lot of people in Canada are absolutely furious at the Liberals because of the mismanagement over the past decade. Also, completely understandable. So what's the right answer for you? First, you have to decide what your priorities are. What are your stances philosophically versus practically? Immediate needs versus long-term goals. Who do you think is a better person for the job? So look into the candidates that interest you and ignore the propaganda. Every time a political attack ad comes on TV, do your brain cells a favor and just hit mute. Also, be aware of manipulation through fancy language. Right now, the Conservatives are calling their new bills blank for a change, to try to get you to think, oh, change. Right now sucks. Change sounds good. Or maybe they even want a little Pavlovian response where you think, change? That reminds me of Obama. Okay, so be aware also of transparently cheap political stunts like canceling GST for a few months. To me, all that says is we could have been doing this already, but we chose to not do it until we needed your votes. Yeah, the candidate that starts treating the public like they have brains next time around is going to get my vote. Always remember, and this is extremely important, politicians are not like products. There is no 100% money back guarantee if you're not satisfied. There is no warranty. There is no path for buyer's remorse. Simply put, you get what you vote for. So be sure it's what you want. So here we go. Time to get out there and make your voices heard. And as always, elbows up. And by the way, if you don't take part in the democratic process, you don't get to complain. So get out there and vote.